I don't know if it's something new. I think it's, you know, it's a, for me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to.
Genuinely do not understand this at all whatsoever. Do you understand this?
You can always come to me.
A little bit. Louis, I need to talk to you. We have a problem.
What's wrong?
My leg's about to fall out down my skirt. It's a girl.
One of the biggest tricks in social psychology when you want to impress someone is simple. Mirror their energy, give them what they're missing, and then at the right moment snatch it away with fear. That's power. Meghan walked into Harry's life, playing the role of the hardworking, independent, down-to-earth girl.
But when you look at Meghan and you look at how she is the one that really is controlling Harry, there's absolutely no doubt.
That's the image Harry still clings to today, and it matters because first impressions stick like glue.
It's about being authentic.
You can fool almost anyone into believing you're something you're not just by acting the part. Meghan wasn't just looking for love, she was hunting status. Her old friends exposed her for climbing, for using people and dropping them cold when they were no longer useful.
We got on well.
Oh, I'm not.
But I tried to help her, and then we got blank. Piers Morgan and myself. Ghosted is the word.
While in London, she was asking around if anyone knew princes or rich single English men. And when someone finally set her up with Harry, Meghan showed up ready for the kill. This was not about romance, it was about conquest.
She loved London, loved the whole showbiz scene, wanted to get on, wanted to meet journalists, wanted to meet a, English chap to go out with. And look, she won the lottery and she wanted to be interviewed, and I was presenting for OKTV then. So I said to my producer, can we do a little interview with her? And he was like, no way, we've got Victoria Beckham here. We've got all these names, Eva Longoria. I don't know this woman, no.
When Meghan first met Harry, she wore his mother's favorite perfume.
Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one, right? She's been doing it her entire life. And there was no doubt that she studied Princess Diana. She studied her mannerisms towards Harry when he was a boy and the way that she grabs her face. And this is the psychopathic elements of what she does, putting a pregnancy text next to Princess Diana's hair, saying that she put her hands on the grave to have a conversation with her, bursting into tears. And she has convinced, there's a thing called in psychology called the Freudian transfer. She has convinced Harry that she is Princess Diana, except this time he has an opportunity to save her. That is the truth, and it's worked, right? So she's done this convincing performance for Harry that I don't know how I ended here, I just love you, and I'm just like your mom. And the one chance that you had to save your mom again, when he recounts that tale and the things that she said, she threatened homicide on her unborn child and suicide on herself, and then she convinced Harry that it was his idea to leave the UK.
Scents are dangerous because they lock into memory.
Would do with their child. It seems that Amber and Meghan are both so controlling that they'll even take on the mother role over their partners.
Harry can't even eat in peace.
Yes, try
It's a big bite. Well, Meghan has to be in control.
If Diana's perfume wrapped Harry's childhood, and then the woman he thinks is his soulmate shows up smelling the same, his brain links them together without him even knowing. That's not romance, that's strategy. With Meghan and Harry, one theme never dies: Diana.
Were you thinking of harming yourself? Were you suicidal thoughts?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
And just like Meghan, the princess said, the royal family did nothing to help her.
How did you cope with that?
Well, obviously there were lots of tears.
And every single day I was coming back from work from London, I was coming back to my wife crying.
Was this completely out of character for you?
Yes, very much so.
And this is not who I am.
Because I am a very strong person.
I'm supposed to be stronger than that.
Well, there were three of us.
Just the three of us.
I'm very protective about my friends.
And one of the people that I reached out to, who's continued to be a friend and confidant, was one of my husband's mom's best friends, one of Diana's best friends.
I wait my husband's decision or which way we are all going to go.
And you made a decision that certainly saved my life.
And here
was a fairy story that everybody wanted to work.
Yeah, greater than any fairy tale you've ever read.
Let's be clear, Meghan's power doesn't come from love. It comes from Harry's wounds. She didn't give him issues, she learned how to twist them to get what she wanted.
That she is embarking on Freudian transfer.
Not knowing about it, I reverted back to 12-year-old Harry.
She is using a real childhood trauma that Prince Harry suffered from, losing his mother.
After everything that had happened to my mum, and to now be put in a position of losing another woman in my life.
And she has used it to further harness him to her and their relationship. She has convinced him, he actually believes that Meghan Markle is Princess Diana.
Meghan carefully shaped herself as Diana 2.0, and Harry can't stop saying, she's just like my mom.
So much of what Meghan is and how she is so similar to my mum.
Of course, Meghan knew exactly who Prince Harry was. The act of pretending otherwise is a joke. It's already been exposed that she had a full-blown obsession with the royal family, watching, studying, and comparing herself.
You obviously knew her when she was younger. She was pictured outside Buckingham Palace.
Who was there at Buckingham?
Quoting a friend saying she was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0.
I had double majored at Northwestern, Theater and International Relations.
Kate Middleton was on her radar, but above all, her obsession was with Princess Diana.
Royal Highness, take one. Go do the grocery. I didn't have time to do it.
Meghan lived with me from the 6th grade to high school.
And this is where Meghan Markle gets all her narcissistic traits, because you can see when he says, why not? She was born a princess.
My daughter's been a princess since the day she was born.
Their first date was said to last anywhere from 1 to 3 hours, but the story keeps changing every time they tell it.
Yes, we first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend.
Yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date.
Snapchat.
Oh gosh, just that whole thing. It starts like dog ears.
Dog ears.
That's what he saw of me.
That was the first thing. I was like, who is that?
This is ridiculous. Because I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family.
Was it 1 hour? Was it 3? Meghan made sure to end it early, claiming she was busy the next day. Pay attention, not only did the date never last longer than 3 hours, but her reason for leaving was vague at best. Meghan didn't give the date time to get boring. She knew that the 2nd or 3rd hour is when energy dips, so she cut it short on purpose, making sure Harry was left wanting more. If there was one thing Meghan Markle wasn't, it was busy.
You know, Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. It's a lot of pinch me moments right now. And at the same time, I think because I'm so busy with so many different things, and for each of those projects, as you mentioned, the show or the podcast or the brand, the business.
She used her role on a TV show to make Harry think she was a big Hollywood star with endless projects. Harry was never going to dig around and realize Suits was already fading by season 4. Truth is, he didn't even understand how Hollywood worked until he moved to LA. Meghan took full advantage of that ignorance to puff up her career, making him believe, wow, this glamorous actress is squeezing me into her packed schedule.
I slept with Harvey.
How big was he? Was he good? How long did it last?
Legs and having it with jamon. And the next thing I knew, Rachel, hold on a second.
Es que no puedo.
Wait a second.
You can always come to me.
A little bit. Louis, I need to talk to you. We have a problem.
What's wrong?
My mic's about to fall down my skirt. It's a girl.
In their documentary, one of the first things Meghan says is, right before we met, we got another season of Suits. I was single for a couple of months. I was ready to travel. Notice how she slips in the reminder that her show was still running.
I didn't like feeling forced to be all looks and little substance.
Forced? I have a question. Force implies force. That's what that word means. Was somebody chaining her to the set? And they're like, you need to be good looking and stand there for money. She's like, no, I will not do that. I'm much more than that. I am my brain.
Even though by that time it had lost much of its audience. Meghan used Suits to prove she was someone before Harry, her way of saying, why would I need him? She framed herself as already winning, acting, traveling, living the life. She had no reason to bring up Suits at all. but she made sure to insert it before talking about their relationship. By appearing busy and successful, Meghan tricked Harry into thinking she had no reason to use him. Why would she? She was a famous actress marrying a prince, her supposed dream. Oh, of course not. She was just a clever American who knew nothing about the royals and had never heard of the Queen in her entire life.
This is a big deal. I mean, Americans will understand this. Medieval times, dinner and tournament. It was like that. Like, I curtsied as though I was like... Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Was that okay? It was so intense.
It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring for a lot of Brits.
I have to teach you how to wave.
That's not a thing. You just sort of watch it and go, okay, I guess that's what, I mean, I guess you don't want to wave like an American. Like, ah.
Harry believed Meghan was an independent woman who had nothing to do with the royal family. He even says it himself in the opening of their soap opera, his big one-liner that proves how clueless he was. He never stopped to think for even a second that she might be using him, because she played the part so well, established, honest, and vulnerable. Anytime the royals came up, Meghan would laugh like it was all new to her, as if she'd never even heard of it. You see this clearly when Harry asks, "How do you explain bowing down to your grandmother?" Meghan instantly turns it into a joke, showing Harry she was in it for him, not his strange royal life.
I met her and apparently I did a very deep curtsy and I don't remember it. And then we just sat there and we chatted and it was lovely.
Meghan lived in Canada for 7 years while working, and let's not forget, the Queen's face is printed right on Canadian money. So for Meghan to act like she knew nothing about the royal family is pure nonsense. She even claimed she didn't know who was walking with the Queen when she first met the royals. Really? The woman whose face is all over the currency in the country you lived in for years. And you had no clue? That's not innocence, that's acting.
And I think, thank God I hadn't known a lot about the family. Thank God I hadn't researched. I would have been so in my head about all of it.
It's strange with Meghan. She can't stop making jokes. Almost like marrying into royalty isn't her dream come true. By mocking royal traditions, she made Harry believe she was above it all, that she didn't care about the strange rules of his world. Meghan played it perfectly, acting like she was willing to ignore the differences and the weight of his traditions, all because she loved him.
Harry and I are in the car and he says, okay, well, my grandmother's there, so you're gonna meet her. Oh, great. I loved my grandmother. I used to take care of my grandmother. This is great. He goes, right, do you know how to curtsy? What? I said, do you know how to curtsy? I didn't think that's what happens inside. And I said, but it's your grandmother. He goes, it's the Queen.
It's so strange and almost unbelievable. There's no way this isn't her dream come true.
To show respect. And I learned it very quickly. Right in front of the house. We just practiced and then walked in. And
you and Harry practiced?
Yeah, and Fergie ran out and she said, are you ready? Do you know how to curtsy? I said, oh my goodness, you guys.
Any girl chasing royal attention would jump at every chance to join their traditions, desperate to feel like one of them. But Meghan played it differently. She acted like she didn't care about the crown, the fame, or even the $28 billion empire. She sold Harry the story that she loved him for himself and nothing else.
Even when Will and Kate came over and I had met her for the first time they came over for dinner, I remember I was in ripped jeans and I was barefoot. It's like I was a hugger. I've always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring for a lot of Brits. I guess I'd started to understand very quickly that the formality on the outside carried through on the inside.
Let's not forget, Meghan once begged a friend to get her into the headlines back when she was just a minor Deal or No Deal star.
Wanted to get on, wanted to meet journalists, so we were next to each other again and it kind of went on from there. And she wanted to be interviewed and I was presenting for OKTV then.
This is someone desperate for attention and obsessed with fame.
Slowly I started seeing her disregard people. There's many we could name, like Piers Morgan. And she kind of used them, and when she knew there was no way more she could use them, she'd get rid of them.
Back to the Busy act. In their documentary, they hammer the idea that Meghan had her whole summer of 2016 mapped out, traveling across Europe, living a carefree single girl summer. But the truth, she wasn't single at all. She literally met Harry while still in another relationship, and yes, that's already been exposed. But Harry and the viewer aren't meant to know that. Instead, they push the single Meghan story hard. She even says, "I was really intent on being single," a straight up lie. Then comes her conveniently placed friend Lucy, probably hired, who claims Meghan had all these travel plans. And Meghan jumps in again. "I had my career, I had my life, I had my path, and then came age."
I had a career, I had my life, I had my path. And then came age.
I'll try to hold back the sarcasm, but it's almost impossible when someone is this easy to see through. Meghan doesn't even bother hiding it well. Any viewer who's read a single article about her past can spot the act instantly. Of course Harry, or should I say H, can't see it, but the rest of us sure can.
Came age.
He wasn't reading a single thing about her, and by the time he finally did, Meghan was already whispering in his ear.
I think she told Harry a sad story, a poor girl story. She had to keep us out of it because it's not a true story.
Harry even admits he ran to Meghan every time he read something in the press, letting her feed him the truth. Not suspicious at all, right?
I had a career, I had my life, I had my path. And then came age.
Was designed to trick both Harry and us into believing she had this amazing life she suddenly gave up out of love, as if it wasn't planned. She was going to travel all across Europe, remember? Then the documentary flashes happy Instagram shots of Meghan, laughing and carefree to sell the fantasy of her old life. And now we're told she can't step outside without being hunted by imaginary paparazzi.
My mom or my friends or them calling me crying, just like, "Meg, they're not protecting you." And I realized that it was all happening just because I was breathing.
Meghan complains about being hounded by paparazzi. This video is used to illustrate her point. But it turns out the footage is actually of photographers pursuing Donald Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen. Now, this photo claiming to show a threatening paparazzi. Turns out that photo is actually from the London premiere of Harry Potter in 2011.
You liar!
What?
As in, that's not from...
No, hang on, that's in their doco.
Yeah, that's in their doco, in the trailer for their doco. They were all taking photos of them.
That's at the Harry Potter premiere that neither of them were at.
Oh my...
A Netflix thing. They were sitting in the front of a car and my sister was like looking around and said, "Do you have that pap on the scooter?" And Harry said, "Where is he?" And then there was a camera shot through the car and there was like one guy on a bike. He didn't have a camera. There was nobody else around. But they were supposed to be in a heightened state of paranoia as the paparazzi were following them. Nobody was following them.
More from this theme of Meghan spinning her story to look flawless.
You are making me scared. Been down in the middle of the night looking down my hallway like, are we safe? Are the doors locked? Is security on? Is everything? That's real. Are my babies safe?
Meghan plays the "I did this for you" card. But let's be real, she'd sacrifice her own mother if it meant more fame. She cut their first date short after just an hour or two, claiming she had plans. Again, selling the idea she wasn't using him, that she had a life outside of him. And of course, that only pulled Harry in deeper, exactly what she wanted. Now, before we move on, let's talk about Botswana. After meeting Meghan just twice, Harry invited her to Africa for charity work. He told her the 1 week he had off, and magically Meghan had the exact same week free. Harry took it as a sign from the universe that she was the one. Not once did it cross his mind that she was on hiatus, or simply willing to rearrange everything. He saw it as destiny. She even admitted it, yet Harry still says, "I was astonished she said yes. This woman I've only met twice is coming with me." Red flag, but try telling him that.
Let her be a warning to men everywhere. All the red flags are there.
Which would just be it'd be just as good. I mean, I won't get any camera shots, but it'll still be fun. Oh, hey. Hi, guys. Hi. Twist me. Oh, twist me! Oh, here we go. We got some cool guys coming up here. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, hello.
The hunter versus the prey.
This section alone could fill 15 videos. So tell me in the comments if you want a full series on Meghan's fundamental lies and tricks. Because that's exactly what her entire relationship with Harry is built on, lies and tricks. The first big lie? Pretending she knew nothing about the royal family. Meghan convinced Harry that love blinded her into jumping into a world she didn't understand. But the truth? She knew exactly who Harry was. She knew his childhood. She blogged about royal weddings. She even wrote about her princess dreams, and she was obsessed with Diana. To lie this big and then make Harry feel guilty as if it's his fault for not preparing her is insane. To this day, Harry compares his mom marrying into the family knowing nothing to Meghan doing the same. That's why he feels such deep responsibility for her pain. In his mind, every time Meghan suffers under royal rules, it's somehow his fault.
But I wasn't just being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
Sure. We all know Meghan was chasing Harry for the glamour, the flash, the fame, and the money. The only part she hated was being forced to do real royal duties. Harry now says he hates himself for dragging her into a world that made her feel suicidal. But that is exactly how a manipulator works. They make you feel guilty for their choices. She was never going to do it, but she made sure Harry believed it. Using suicide as a pawn while having no real plan was another huge lie. One that had Harry terrified he'd lose another woman to the institution. She even told him while pregnant, "I'm not going to actually do it, but I want you to know what I'm thinking." That's not romance, that's control. Of course, let's be clear, mental health is serious and never a joke, especially during pregnancy. But Meghan telling Harry she'd thought about it, giving details, while adding that she wouldn't go through with it because of his mother, is deeply questionable. She flipped the story into proof that the royal family didn't care, claiming they blocked her from therapy because it looked bad. Yet that's false. Other royals have gone to therapy openly. Then to Oprah, Harry repeated that she didn't want to put him through losing another woman while their baby was unborn. Yes, mental health matters, but Meghan's way of using it made her intentions questionable. Instead of seeking help, she turned it into another weapon against the family. Another way to tighten her grip on Harry. And from there, she moved on to her next trick, pretending she was just a humble girl who dreamed of living quietly in Africa.
Yes, you heard right.
Back in early 2020, when people started realizing Meghan was a fraud, new rumors surfaced, and my sources confirmed them. She sold Harry the idea that sometimes she needed an escape from fame and fortune, and that living in Africa would give her peace and serenity. Harry fell for it instantly. "Oh my god, this is crazy. I think about living here too." But Meghan only said it because she knew Africa was sacred to him. He did a lot of charity work there, and it was where his mother built part of her legacy. She wasn't being humble, she was playing him.
They've adopted Prince Harry as their own. So says his mentor and friend.
Harry is one of us.
To a man who wants to make a real difference in the world, Prince Harry has opened up about how Africa has changed his life forever.
I've often talked about Africa as my second home, and I've often been asked why I love it so much.
Meghan always appeared to match Harry's energy. Harry was sick of fame. Suddenly, so was Meghan. Harry said the glamour and attention felt meaningless. Suddenly, Meghan agreed. Harry felt peace working in Africa because it honored his mother. Suddenly, Meghan wanted to live in Africa too. She made him believe that in a world full of money-hungry leeches, they were the perfect pair. But the truth is, she used his trauma with fame and paparazzi to make him feel understood. You see it clearly in their Netflix documentary when she claims she blended in by wearing muted colors as a royal, a story that was nothing but a lie.
I was like, well, what's a color that they'll probably never wear? Camel, beige, white. So I wore a lot of muted tones, but it also was so I could just blend in.
That, plus the fact that she completely invented a fake royal dress code about colors.
So I wore a lot of muted tones, but it also was so I could just blend in.
First the muted colors, then came the act of faith and trust. Meghan made Harry believe she trusted him completely, while everyone else saw him as just the spare, the younger brother who'd never be king. Meghan flipped that, making him feel she only wanted him for himself. In Harry's head, any other girl dating a prince would demand Paris or some luxury escape. But Meghan, she acted like she had the same humble morals as him. Funny though, this Africa girl had a $200,000 baby shower, another trick. Then came the childlike act. From the start, they both used the words fun and childlike to describe their relationship. That's exactly how manipulators hook someone, by giving them what they're missing. Harry, always the crybaby, saw his life as fake, unfair, and suffocating. Then came quirky, carefree Meghan, lifting his spirits and making him addicted. The childlike act sealed it. She became the living image of what he thought he needed.
So much of what Meghan is and how she is so similar to my mum. She has the same compassion, she has the same empathy, she has the same confidence. She has this warmth about her.
Harry lost his childhood when his mother died. He was forced to grow up fast and copy William, who learned to bury his emotions for the sake of the crown. William always had it in him to wear the brave face. Maybe it was in his DNA, or maybe it came from being told since birth he would be king. Harry, on the other hand, had it easier. Less pressure, less sacrifice, less duty. You'd think he would remember that before tearing his family apart on national television, dragging them down with his Hollywood wife.
Evil times, dinner and tournament.
We'll get deeper into Harry's resentment later. But for now, let's go back to the childlike act, giving someone what they lack. Harry lost his childhood, and Meghan handed it back to him.
For kids, that's fun, so many good songs. And I've become that mom where I'm like sitting around with friends and I start singing like, Tyrannosaurus, that's the chorus, Tyrannosaurus. I was like, what am I singing? Oh my gosh, I'm singing Storybox. I'm singing Storybox. I am not singing Beyonce in that.
She copied the role his mother once played, nurturing, caring, but also playful and fun. If we can all see from a screen how broken Harry is, imagine how easy it must be in person to twist that weakness and use his own vulnerability against him. Trauma-filled, Harry always felt like he didn't belong. To keep this video from dragging, let's skip the long details. Harry never fit in, he wasn't going to be king. He didn't have William's strength, he lost his childhood too young, and on top of that, he was the ginger outsider. He was simply lost. Then along comes Meghan with her own identity struggles. Her favorite line, I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids. How true is that really? No one knows, but it sure made her look relatable to Harry.
Most people didn't treat me like a black woman, so that talk didn't have to happen for me.
According to Meghan and her mom, she supposedly didn't know America had a racist past, and didn't even know what the N-word meant because her mom never taught it. She was white passing, and for most of her life, race didn't matter. Meghan claims she never realized how much race mattered until she moved to the UK, another story crafted to play the victim.
Obviously now people are very aware of my race because they made it such an issue when I went to the UK, but before that, most people didn't treat me like a black woman.
Control of the media, you pay for paparazzi, you pay for publications and for PR. Don't act like you are the victim here.
Victim mode.
I feel like Meghan's rebrand is just to say, I'm a victim. And she's about as far from a victim as you could possibly get.
And our culture of victimhood is really then a culture of narcissism. And Harry and Meghan are its perfect representatives because they are now king and queen victim.
Like the media is obsessed with victimhood and identity. And because Meghan Markle checks off all those boxes, it doesn't matter that she's annoying. It doesn't matter that she's a narcissist. It doesn't matter that she's not really talented aside from being good looking.
When Meghan met Harry, she also had to connect with his own self-identity struggles. That's when she pulled the What Am I story, likely in late 2016. Harry's ego had already taken hits from being called the ginger who looked different from the rest of the royals. So when Meghan met his family, Harry recalls how some of them were overly pleased with her, and you can guess why.
Sure, Dan.
They didn't even know what to do with themselves. How could the ginger prince land such a beautiful girl? And here's the trick. To make someone trust you, you act vulnerable first. So while Harry poured out stories of insecurity and self-identity, Meghan played along. She told him tales of divorced parents, not knowing who she was, hating how she looked, never feeling good enough.
Doria, when she met Meghan's father, was in fact a drug dealer. And one of the reasons that Thomas and Doria broke up was not only her very, very heavy drug use, but also she was selling it. And then, of course, she disappears for 10 years from Meghan's life, effectively. Legally, I can't tell you why, but there's no doubt that drugs played a big part in her life.
You know, my dad would snort, cocaine.
It made him feel safe. Sweet, right? Except it was all an act. Meghan already knew Harry's weaknesses before she even met him. He wasn't her soulmate, he was her target. One Google search and you'll find all of Harry's dirty laundry. That's what made their dynamic so dangerous. He only learned about Meghan from her while she studied him through the press. She could shape herself into whatever he needed, and because he was so broken and traumatized, he became the perfect target. Misery loves company, even fake misery. Humans hate feeling alone in their struggles. So when someone shows up mirroring your pain, you feel seen and safe. That's exactly how Meghan trapped him. Meghan can get Harry to do almost anything with one line. I don't want the same fate as your mother. That's how she pushed him to leave the royal family. She made him believe that if they stayed, she'd end up just like Diana.
Diana and her memory seems to be a cash cow for these two. I think they have to let her rest.
This is where she took back what she gave him, playing on his insecurities about never being good enough. Picture her speeches. Why can't we move to the US and build our own legacy? Where's your freedom? Nobody in your family sees your potential. They hold you back because they know you'll outshine William. Imagine it, you in California bigger than the King of England. Tell me that wouldn't get to him.
When someone who's marrying in, who should be a supporting act, is then stealing the limelight or is doing the job better than the person who was born to do this, that upsets people. It shifts the balance. The only way that your charities can succeed and the only way that your reputation can be grown or improved is if you're on the front pages of those newspapers. But the media are the ones who choose who to put on the front page. Every single member of the family, senior members of the family had been, including the Queen. And on the front page of the Telegraph, Meghan.
I went, oh my God.
She was like, but it's not my fault. And I said, I know. And my mum felt the same way.
A man doesn't suddenly destroy his whole family in the name of truth-telling, unless someone has been poking him non-stop until he explodes. Harry had years to expose William, but never did. Everything was fine, until Meghan came along, poured salt into his wounds, and set him up to shatter his closest bond. She needed William gone because he saw right through her, and had the power to influence both the family and Harry. So how do you remove the enemy? You don't. You let your victim do the dirty work and make them think it's their choice. As the saying goes, if you don't want someone to escape prison, don't let them know they're trapped. Meghan even admitted in the documentary she told him, it's on you to protect us. If anyone put that kind of press responsibility on me, I'd tell them they're insane. What else could Harry do but fight with his family about the media? Meghan planted the seed and suddenly Harry was raging, accusing his own relatives of leaking and planting stories, just because Meghan put the burden on him.
Key piece of that story that made me aware that the contents of the letter between me and my father had been leaked was that we were willing to relinquish our Sussex titles.
Harry's own father once told him, "My dear boy, you cannot control the press." But 12-year-old Harry snapped back, "I fundamentally disagree." And now here we are, 3 years into his goose chase with Meghan, fighting a press that will never disappear. Every 20 minutes, Harry ties the loss of his mom to the fear of losing Meghan, which only wrecks him more. Meghan feeds off that trauma, using it to excuse any behavior, which is why Harry says whatever Meghan wants, she gets. He actually believes Diana was reborn in Meghan, and by protecting her now, he gets to rewrite the past he couldn't control. Sarcasm aside, it's tragic. He sees Meghan's defiance and instantly thinks, the only other woman who broke the rules was my mom. But Meghan isn't breaking rules out of courage, she's doing it out of disrespect. She got Harry tied down and she doesn't need the rest of the family anymore. Let's be clear, Meghan wants to be the modern day Diana. Copying her ideology and her rebellion, chasing the same global attention. She dreams of being the Diana who never died, but news flash, Diana wasn't untouchable. She was criticized constantly. The truth is, it's impossible to see who Meghan really is when she's just imitating someone else, not for Harry, but for the whole world. If someone comes into your life and suddenly you're fighting with everyone you love, that person is bad news. So why did Meghan show up and suddenly every issue in Harry's family went public? Why has he burned every bridge? If she truly cared, would she sit back while he destroyed his bond with his family? Or worse, be the reason he's fighting them? Harry already had resentment, Since his mother died, he's blamed the royals for not protecting her and probably his father for pushing her away. Down, he's likely envied William for being the firstborn. But notice, it's not William writing a book called Spare. That's Meghan's influence. She pokes his wounds, whispering, "You're more than William. They don't respect you. Our kids deserve the same titles. Take control." And suddenly, Harry's raging, even choking William. Harry always hated the institution, but if he really wanted to leave, he would have done it long ago. He didn't, until Meghan came. She used his old scars to bring out the worst. Now Harry's exposing his family, releasing books, and using the public as therapy. But airing dirty laundry never fixes anything. It only burns bridges. That's the point. Meghan needs him to crash and burn, so she's all he has left. She's already turned his own supporters against him. At this point, Harry doesn't think for himself. He thinks whatever Meghan tells him.
Did Meghan ever mention?
It's horrifying to watch Meghan quietly setting up Harry's downfall. While he's out front taking the hits and writing Spare, she hides in the background. Maybe Harry was fine, living as the Spare. Maybe deep down, he knew he was lucky to be second born. But insecurities are easy to exploit. One simple trigger, and years of anger, pain, and resentment explode. Why else is Harry tearing his family apart? Because blaming them is easier than facing his own demons, or admitting Meghan is the real problem. She will never let him grow strong enough to break free. He thinks he's in control by lashing out at his family. But really, it's Meghan pulling the strings. She needs him fully tied to her because without Harry, no one cares about her. That's why anyone who criticizes Meghan, even William, gets ignored. She's convinced Harry the whole world is against them. And their Netflix soap opera makes it clear. Meghan has worked on Harry until he's become a man waiting on her hand and foot. That's the trap.
Incredibly special, and to be able to have this, which sort of links where you come from, and Botswana, which is important to us, and it's perfect.
She's basically redesigned it to make it look like the set of wedding bands that she had from her first marriage.
It's beautiful, and he designed it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it stays on that finger.
Of course.
But she kept his bracelet.
To Harry and Meghan's most cringeworthy moments. And trust me, this isn't just about their Nigeria trip. I've dug up brand new clips from Nigeria and older trips that make them look just as bad. We're talking Meghan faking interest in conversation, blocking a woman from standing next to Harry, again, a wanted criminal helping fund their visit, and even the First Lady of Nigeria throwing shade right to Meghan's face. This is going to be brutal.
Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa?
Meghan's obsession with always being in control. In this clip from lunch with the Minister of Defense, Harry does the gentlemanly thing, helping a woman up the steps. But watch closely. Here comes Meghan's claw of control. She leans in, maneuvering him like she's steering a puppet, even peeking in front of him to see who dares get his attention. Meghan completely ignores the woman, who was about to stand on Harry's other side. Instead, Meghan directs Harry to stand next to her, leaving the woman awkwardly pushed back to the edge of the stage. The woman even points where she wanted to stand. Meghan just flashes a smug smile and leaves her stranded by the stairs, isolated, while Meghan basks in the spotlight with her classic "I'm better than you" smirk. We've seen Meghan use her famous claw of control on Harry over and over, steering him around like he's her puppet. Meghan's hand is always on Harry's back, not as a sweet gesture, but as a steering wheel directing this grown man exactly where she wants him. Even at one of their final royal events, Harry tried to speak to someone across the room, but Meghan yanked him back like a dog on a leash. And this isn't rare. It happens at almost every event they go to, whether it's the Invictus Games, their royal duties, or Nigeria. This power dynamic between Harry and Meghan is always the same. We all saw Meghan's rudeness to Dr. Sophie at the polo match, even though Sophie is the chair of the charity that hosted them that weekend. Not even a high-ranking title could save her from Meghan Markle's cold stage manners. There's this one clip I still can't believe is real. It's that ridiculous. Forget Meghan's VMA club outfit for a second. Why is she planted in front of Harry like a human wall? He tries to move her over and she shifts maybe a centimeter. You can see he's annoyed, and even the woman next to him is giving Meghan side-eye as she tries to make space. The whole thing is bizarre. Meghan's blocking him like she's the lead singer ditching the band, clearly wanting her jewelry front and center instead of hidden. It's just weird and honestly off-putting. Here's another moment from the trip. Harry goes to greet people, and within seconds, that famous claw is on his back, shoving him aside so Meghan can insert herself. Harry even shoots her a nasty look. The man turns back to Harry, but Meghan can't stand that. She flashes an aggressive smile, scans the room, chest puffed out, inching closer until the man is forced to address her too. As Harry talks, she gives him this empty, glitchy smile, and honestly, it's downright creepy. It's just like that nasty glare she gave her own mom when Doria dared to speak for 2 seconds in front of Meghan. Meghan muttering to herself, completely camera obsessed. Meghan talking to herself for the cameras, classic. She's always calculating the shot. How can I make this look effortless, poetic, like I'm a real life fairy tale princess? We saw it at the Queen's funeral with her one perfect stage tear. Real grief doesn't pose for cameras with closed eyes and a dramatic chin lift. Most people look down, but Meghan, she gave us Broadway. And you might think, Hollywood Confidential, you're overthinking it. But am I? In this clip, we see Meghan laughing and looking around like Harry just said something funny. But rewatch it. Harry's just wiping his nose, and the man next to her isn't even speaking. Yet she's sitting there cackling to herself. Why? Of course, for the cameras. There's even a moment where everyone is looking in another direction, probably listening to whoever's talking, but Meghan is making this bizarre face and clapping. And for what? No clear reason, other than making sure the camera stays on her. Then there's this clip where Meghan pretends she's part of Harry's conversation. Harry's talking to the man next to him, and Meghan jumps in with her fake laugh while Harry's face stays blank. The whole thing is painfully awkward, especially when Meghan flashes that aggressive smile while Harry just looks confused. Even the woman behind her seems entertained, watching the foolishness unfold. Another awkward moment happened at the Invictus Games. Harry's talking to the man next to him, while Meghan, who was singing along to Sweet Caroline, suddenly starts aggressively smiling and leaning toward their conversation. Meghan, there's no way you were actually involved or even heard a word with the man so far away and the crowd plus music blasting. But that doesn't stop her from scanning the room, smiling and laughing at nothing. By the end, she's clearly trying to make eye contact with this man, who isn't looking at her at all. And then there's another event where she spots the camera twice in just 30 seconds, instantly turning up the act just for the lens. And what's with her constant room scanning? It's so strange and robotic. If I were her publicist, I'd tell her to stop.
Huh? Huh?
This also happened at another Invictus Games event where cameras caught her scanning the crowd, desperate for someone to react so she could respond. Her behavior comes off manic, like she can't even fake focusing on what's happening in front of her. Instead, she's hunting for attention and photo ops. At one point, she flashes her blazer open while looking around, then starts bouncing and scanning again, even though no one's watching. She even seems to mutter "stop it" to herself, and when the crowd claps for a score, she claps too, but still keeps searching for someone to notice her. This was right before they got booted from Charles's fancy garden party. Meghan was allegedly whining that she was bored and wanted to leave. Well, word got back to Charles and Camilla, and guess what? Wish granted. Don't let the royal gate hit you on the way out, sweetheart. Oh, and here, take these gifts, the ones you're definitely not supposed to be accepting. So they showed up late to the performance. The crowd's already clapping, but of course they think it's for them. Look at that grin, like she just won an award. And keep an eye on the woman in the top left. She says something, but I can't tell what. If you can read lips, drop it in the comments. Serious face and top left lady are a whole mood. We're at their last Commonwealth event and surprise, Meghan spots a camera and starts gawking like it's her close-up. But Sophie catches her in the act and boom, most awkward flag wave ever. Now Meghan's bulldozing through chairs like it's a Black Friday sale just to get in front of Sophie. And that look Sophie throws at Harry's wife. Here's another moment where she starts talking to herself, wearing that fake, empathetic smile, even though Harry isn't even looking her way. Watch the baby in front. That look says it all. I don't know about you, but I always trust a baby's judgment when it comes to strangers. They just know. What's that, Harry? We're supposed to meet veterans who've been waiting to see us. Oh, don't worry. I can totally hijack that too, because it's not about them. It's about me. Bit slippery today, huh? Maybe it wouldn't be if you didn't show up to a wedding dressed like a walking duvet. Who knew bedspreads were in this season? Here's Meghan having a full-on convo with herself. And look, the Queen is totally thrilled or not. And yep, here comes the famous moment. She shoves her way in front like she owns the place. Just wandering around like, what do I get? Move, folks. Meghan's on a mission to steal the spotlight. Here we go. Digging through Haz's stuff like it's a yard sale. A couple of houses, some drama, and friends standing there like, girl, what are you doing? Meanwhile, she's backing away all sneaky like a guilty little spider caught in the cookie jar. This is the part where she's bossing Harry around like a stage mom. Then boom, some other lady dares to take over. Meghan's face not amused. If you watch the whole thing, folks say a big fight probably happened before this. And the cherry on top, she's mad he didn't hand her the pen like a royal servant. Oh yeah, he's definitely getting an earful later. This one's my favorite. Kids don't lie. And they definitely don't fake it. Not even Meghan's acting can win them over. And look at Harry trying to play the tough dad, scolding the kid like, hey, show some respect. Nice try, champ. All right, watch that side eye right there. She's giving him the look of death. And Harry man's squirming like he needs a bathroom now. All fidgety and weird. Yeah, they've 100% been arguing about something. You can feel the tension through the screen. All right, y'all. This is her big USO moment. Just watch. You can feel the awkward. Nobody's vibing with her. They're dodging eye contact like it's contagious. The guy on her right looking like he needs a restraining order. Now she's into the drumming like she's headlining Coachella. And that giant space around her, not a fan club. That's a get away from me zone. Girl, stop. Our troops didn't sign up for this mess. I'm physically cringing. What is she even doing? And those arms. One thing's for sure, nobody paid for this show. Here they are landing in New Zealand. And wow, rookie move. Short skirt, long open jacket on a windy day. Girl, it's not a fashion show. It's a weather warning. Looks like she's about to flash the whole runway. Honestly, Harry probably isn't complaining, but the wind sure is doing all the talking. Ah yes, the infamous scarf moment. Will's already messing with it like it's attacking him. Should we start counting? How long it takes before he uses it as an escape plan? Anything to avoid talking to Harry's wife. He's practically begging Kate with his eyes. Please stand between us. Save me. Morocco, and here she goes, sprinting for no reason like she's in a movie. Then boom, almost face plants. But hey, credit where it's due. That deep squat in those fancy clothes, kind of impressive. Olympic gold in dodging embarrassment. Here they are meeting the King of Morocco, and yep, she's at it again. Elbows out, pushing through like she owns the palace. Super classy or not, that's a big no-no over there. But Meghan's like, rules? Never heard of them. This was the 50th anniversary of Charles being made Prince of Wales. Big deal, right? He tells Harry and Meghan to hang back, senior members only. But nope, here they come, creeping up like two cranky crabs who didn't get the memo. He's literally telling her to stay put, and they keep inching forward. Finally, someone behind them's like, guys, wait, super awkward. Then they get waved through just to stand and wait again. The best part, everyone else is pretending they don't even exist. Classic. Mama almost grabs her belly, then remembers, oops, no baby in there. Old habits really do die hard. Muscle memories working overtime, but the bump's long gone. Thank you. That's really why we're here. Yep. This is what they ditched the memorial for, folks. Priorities. Who needs honoring the dead when there's a photo op waiting? Easy there, down boy. It's a red carpet, not a fire drill. And now enjoy some heartwarming clips of Meghan and Harry's adoring fans. All 5 of them. Blink and you might miss the crowd.
Meghan Markle, the charlatan duchess from the royal family.
And she always pulls this same act, and you can see the pattern from their Nigeria trip, to the Invictus Games, to pretty much every trip they've taken since they got together. If Harry starts talking to someone next to him at an event, she instantly pretends she's part of it, even talking to herself. It's needy and desperate, especially since Harry never cuts her off to steal attention. Yet she treats him like a sidekick, which brings me to my next point. More moments that will make you cringe. Do you know how humiliating it is to no longer work for a certain company or family, yet your only claim to fame is still tied to them? I got full-on secondhand embarrassment when the British national anthem plays, and they stand to honor the same country and the same people they trash in the media almost every day. Funniest part, they don't represent the UK or the US, yet they're standing there, big, mad, and awkward as hell. There was another moment where Meghan got a gift from a school child, and by the end, she couldn't even hide it. Her mask slipped, and she looked at the gift with pure disgust. But what's even funnier, and honestly more concerning, then there's the fact that a fugitive wanted in the US welcomed Harry and Meghan in Lagos. Yep, Dr. Alan Onyema, wanted for money laundering and $20 million bank fraud. He's also the founder and CEO of Airpeace, the Nigerian airline they used for their 3-day tour. Someone had to sponsor them, and apparently the prestigious Harry and Meghan had no problem with a wanted fugitive. That's scandalous. If you want respect, you don't cozy up to criminals. If this were William and Catherine, Meghan and Harry would have flooded the press with outrage over media bias. But because it's them, silence. Just like Harry, who was all smiles at a dinner supporting African parks, yet stayed quiet about the scandal involving the Baka people and the abuse they've suffered from guards hired by African Park. As I said in part 1, it's been months since they were urged to speak, and still nothing. Almost like they only care when it's good press, not when it's the uncomfortable truth. During their visit to the Light Academy, Meghan and Harry went on with the same tired 2-sentence script about mental health. This is your story, and it's okay not to be okay.
Every single one of you has a story.
Because it's okay not to be okay.
Like, wow, how poetic, how life-changing. Because no one's ever said that before, right? Please, every celebrity preaches about mental health now. At least learn enough to offer more than 2 generic lines artists have been singing about for years. Yet Harry acted like he was groundbreaking when he asked students what they'd do if they didn't see their friend smiling in class.
If you see your friend in your class not smiling, what are you gonna do?
Maybe because they're busy doing their math work. I don't know. He even paused for a moment, like he was waiting for applause that never came.
What are you gonna do?
While Meghan gave him this creepy smile, then tried to act quirky with a fake laugh. Like, haha, see why I married him? He's so smart.
Do you see why I'm married to him? He's so smart.
Then she told a story which I'm sure is a lie about how 2-year-old Lily supposedly saw her reflection in Meghan's tiny pupil. And of course, Meghan turned it into some big inspirational moment on stage.
Interestingly, so our daughter Lily, she's much, much tinier than you guys. She's about to turn 3. And a few weeks ago, she looked at me and she could just see the reflection in my eyes. And she goes, "Mama, I see me in you."
Having 2 unqualified people mumbling random words together doesn't make it inspiring. What happened to public figures giving speeches we'd actually remember? Ones that truly help. Instead, we get Harry saying the bare minimum about mental health. How do you preach something you can't even manage yourself? Do you think your brother-in-law, sister-in-law, or father are smiling while you constantly attack them in the media? He can't even help himself, yet claims he wants to help others with generic lines he doesn't even live by.
Put your hand up if you are unsure of what mental health means. Okay, so you all know what mental health means.
Then you've got Meghan telling some made-up deep story about a 2-year-old. Please, the whole thing is a bore. You'd get better, more useful advice from a random guy at a gas station. The First Lady of Nigeria publicly shades Meghan. The cherry on top of this trip was Nigeria's First Lady publicly shading Meghan right after. Senator Oluremi Tinubu, wife of President Bola Tinubu, didn't hold back telling the audience that young men and women should dress modestly, not copy American celebrities, and that Nigerians show beauty and confidence without dressing half naked.
We have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere. And the men are well clothed. Even they are mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't.
Who's an American celeb who brags about being so American? She couldn't even fit in with the Brits. Meghan Markle.
Don't want to wave like an American, like,
And who just went to Nigeria wearing a backless dress at a school, a tube top at a professional lunch, and a beach dress to an event. Yep, Meghan Markle. After saying all that, Senator Oluremi Tinubu even brought up Meghan's trip to Nigeria.
Film stars from America, they don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa?
So it's pretty clear Meghan was the image in the First Lady's mind when talking about dressing modestly in Nigeria. Plus, neither the First Lady nor the President came to greet them. It felt like they were annoyed by this unofficial royal visit. And Meghan twirling in a backless dress at a school in front of kids, while the First Lady said, "We have to salvage our children," is all the proof you need. She was talking about Meghan.
We see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls.
Nigeria trip blows up in their faces. Not only did Nigeria's First Lady call Meghan out, but now Meghan and Harry are back to whining about the royal family as their Netflix numbers crash even harder. People magazine, and gee, I wonder who the source is reported, that they haven't been invited to Trooping the Color for the second year in a row. Well, obviously. But instead of moving on, they had their publicists run to the press to complain. And funny enough, the same outlet pumping out exclusive photos from Nigeria is now their mouthpiece. You'd think their Nigeria tour was a hit, and they could finally stand on their own. But nope, they still need the royal name to stay relevant. Meanwhile, their Netflix docuseries is tanking, falling to number 211 globally. Compare that to David and Victoria Beckham's docuseries hitting number 1 with 43.9 million views. While Harry and Meghan limped in with just 1.9 million in the same period. Their big Netflix debut in 2022 was huge, but the hype died fast and viewers bailed before the last episode. Now people are calling for their Duke and Duchess titles to be stripped, which would make them just Prince and Princess Henry, you know, and that says it all.
My country.
In a personal letter where Meghan never once mentions Harry's name, she still signs off as Duchess of Sussex, skipping her new honorary Otomy title. And who leaked this letter? The same mystery source who always just happens to leak her stories. Of course, it's stamped with her crown logo, even though she hasn't had an HRH title since 2020. This trip was supposed to be about Invictus, but the letter doesn't mention it once. It's all about her. While there, they also inserted themselves into Princess Anne's longtime patronage, Save the Children, which Anne has led since 1970. Harry and Meghan playing working royals on a fake royal tour. While using charities with official royal ties is a straight up slap to the family. It's like they're saying, we'll use you when we want and you can't stop us. Then crying about being isolated. Sure, they donated $10,000, I'll give them that. The trip backfired and all we really got were these cringe moments to laugh at. So let's laugh. That's all for this video. If you missed part 1, watch it after this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me your thoughts below.